Oh, hello there, and welcome to Phil Talking D20. So, what are we talking about today? Well, great big clue there on the old side of the screen. Today is Discord Day. It's still a topic of conversation. We're still, a lot of us, in lockdown. Many of us are coming out of that. But a lot of us have discovered that online gaming has many, many benefits. Yeah, it has some drawbacks. Nothing is perfect. But online gaming is a great way of being able to game with friends who you perhaps start talking to again because you've been in lockdown and you've been phoning people and having vid chats, and you've suddenly kind of reconnected with people that might live miles away, hundreds of miles away, maybe even live in different countries now. A lot of people have kind of ummed and ahed about what options are out there. There's Roll20, there's a lot of virtual tabletops or VTTs. But from my perspective, I run theatre of the mind for all my combats, and the idea of getting stuck into having to work out how a kind of a clunky, chunky new system works on top of running a game sounds a bit of a turn-off. So although VTTs do look super cool and definitely have some really kind of big positives for, I suppose, zooming in on the strategy side of the rules of combat in terms of I take a 5 foot step into this square, so to speak, definitely very, very cool. The way they can, track all your characters, the way you can roll dice, all that kind of great stuff that VTTs offer is wonderful. But theatre of the mind is what I run and prefer, and you have to pay a lot of money to get the most out of these kind of big name, heavy hitting VTTs like Roll20. You've got to buy all your books and you've got to buy your adventures in it, and you sink a lot of money into it before you realise how far down the rabbit hole you've got. Whereas Discord, pick up and play. It's free, and as I'm about to demonstrate, offers you everything you need to really run and structure a game very, very effectively and offer a brilliant kind of community space for you and your players and your GM to have a kind of a place to record and keep track of and keep in touch with everyone and everything that's going on in your game. So, first thing you get presented with when you obviously have logged in and set your account up is this screen where you'll see that it wants you to add a server. I have pre-created one that I've called My Game. It can be called whatever you want, but for all intents and purposes, you click that, it will ask you some questions. Bish bash bosh, you've got a server. Now, jumping into My Game, you've got text channels and voice channels. Voice channels also do video, which I won't be demonstrating because I'm streaming this video. So it'll spin into an endless spiral of infinity, which could tear reality asunder and leave me trapped in a parallel dimension. And I'm just not prepared to dabble with that. However, I've set some general ones up. The first one being general chat. So you're out and about, walking down the street, you've got your Discord app on your phone because you use your mobile. Oh, there's a selling point. Not everyone in your tabletop group has access to a laptop or PC with a webcam, but they still want to take part and they've got a tablet. Discord. Big plus point. One of my gamers, he uses it on a tablet. Perfect. Video calls, job, mission accomplished. You don't need a PC as long as someone's got a phone that can do vid calls and Wi-Fi so they don't cost themselves a fortune. That's why this is such a strong seller for me. And it's free. Another strong seller for me. Because, who wants to spend loads of money to game with friends when you already have spent loads of money buying books and dice, which are far more interesting than an app? So, general chat. You're out and about, strolling down the street, and you suddenly think, hang on a minute, I want this particular item, or I'm going to remind so-and-so about that funny joke we made in session. But you've got a space where you can freely and easily send questions, stupid jokes, emojis, GIFs, all the general nonsense that you might babble about with your gaming friends over text message before, after, during a game. That gives you a kind of a space where you can do that without interfering with anything else. XP and treasure. The GM can essentially, when you get to the end of the dungeon, the GM knows that there is a treasure chest in said dungeon because he's either got it in the adventure path that you're running, or he has created a dungeon and he's created you a treasure haul. He is in a position where he probably has a really good idea, if not actually has an actual list of what is in the treasure. There's a +1 sword. There's some, glowing, rune-covered armor. There is a bag containing 500 gold. A statue of a figurine that may turn into some kind of, magical creature on a command word. All the wonderful trinkets and artifacts. So you can literally be like, all right, let's just chuck something in it goes. Bob's your uncle. Away you go. You can obviously type it all up in a Word document, save it on one side. When it's time to do the big reveal and you open the chest and you find, copy paste, message. Lots of gold. Now, you can go to the next step. You can, this is a simple thing I do. So let's say the goblin, the part of the adventure you were in was the Goblin Caves of Fangorn, right? Goblin Caves, can't spell caves, of Fangorn, loot, right? Lots of gold. But you can create a structure with obviously the date and the time so that you have an accurate list of, oh, didn't we get a potion of such and such in the Goblin Caves of Fangorn? Oh, I can't remember. Did anyone write it down? Oh, hang on, I'll just check Discord. There it is. Go through it all. There was no potion, but there was lots of gold. Maybe we use that to buy a potion. It becomes unanswered still. But you've got a record of what everyone's got. Everyone can dip into that, pick at it, and say, oh, can I have this? Can I have that? Can I have the other? You can even put in notes and rules, like if there's a particular item that has a particular series of actions or abilities, you can even make a special note of it in there. Happy days. It's all being recorded, and everyone can be like, oh, XP and treasure. Or you got 300, let's do it now, 320 XP. Or last fetch. Boom. You build up this log that as you go through a game, it's going to accrue and become a template that everyone can kind of refer back to and dip in and out of and get use of. Quest logs. So you might pre-fill in, as the GM, a couple of quests that you know you're going to drop straight on them in session 1. And again, a player might pick up a side quest and be like, get pin Jim back his metal leg from the hobgoblins. No more scratching around trying to find that bit of paper, or was it this one that I wrote on the back of my character sheet, or is it this one that I scribbled down something about some bloke with a metal leg? You can just bang it in here, and as long as you've all got a collective memory of roughly, oh, that was that session. So it must be that one, because as you can see, you've got the date and the time it was entered. You can have that reference point where you can kind of really kind of get a good idea of what was going on, what you were finding, what you'd earn, where you'd got to level-wise. Did we level up last session? I can't remember. No, we didn't. Yes, we did. Happy days. A stupid GIF because like someone got set on fire by a dragon and died, and endless memes were spammed of like knights being burned by dragons. The table. This one obviously being an obvious one. That is your main game space. You're going to sit down at the table. Everyone jumps into that voice chat. You can add video to that with a click of a button if you've got webcams, or if you're using a mobile device or a tablet with a camera front facing. Straight away, it will integrate. Bob's your uncle. Off you go. And then what's this one? The GM private chat. So you've been in a situation in a campaign where something happens and the player just wants to discuss something in private with one player because it's a secret and the GM doesn't want everyone at the table knowing what's going on. So normally you might step out of the room and just be like, oh, just so you know that the goblin you've just encountered is actually your uncle polymorphed into a goblin. And he's been pretending he's this goblin for quite some time. You recognise the ring on his finger. But you might not want to tell everyone in the group that, because maybe someone in the group, is owed money by his uncle. I don't think of these things. These aren't my problems. These are your problems at your tables. I've had my own. But you can see how that is quite useful. You've probably used it in your own gaming sessions, that quite quick word of, oh, this is this or this is that, or big plot reveal just for your character, keeping it between us. You can immediately jump in there, out of this one, have a quick chat with that particular player that you want to have a quick chat with, jump back in, everyone's out of the picture, everyone's none the wiser. It's still kept private. In fact, it's even easier because you're just clicking a button as opposed to getting up and asking someone to move and then going around there or saying, oh, can you three just pop outside for a minute? Do you know what I mean? You can just go boom, boom, and it's done. So with these kind of, if you like, bare bones, plus its ability to do vid chat and voice chat and create like a communal space where you can all kind of record stuff accurately and effectively, where you can, chat all your nonsense about how the campaign's going. And don't be afraid to have multiple servers if you've got multiple games. You might have, say, a Cthulhu campaign, and you might be running Pathfinder 2, and you might be running 5e. So come up with names for them. Nice little touches. You can, in the options, you can kind of change and add artwork, so that you can have like a cool bit of artwork here. You can give it a more exciting name than my game, because as you can tell, this is a burner. I've just created this to kind of demonstrate some useful things that I find out of Discord. But again, this is one of those things. You can keep adding to what I've done. You might use Discord all the time and be like, oh my God, why hasn't he thought of this? Why hasn't he got this in his own Discord server? It's really useful. And if you'd like to do that, feel free to leave me a comment below. Drop a like, drop a subscribe. Obviously, stay safe, stay gaming, stay classy, and I hope that this kind of, if you like, pitch on why Discord should be a very strong consideration for your online play experience, well, I'm glad about that, because it's fab and I use it all the time. I can highly recommend it. And like I said, it's free, it's easy to use. There's a ton of, if you like, detailed guides if you want to get really nerdy about the kind of the customizing settings and stuff that you can do with it. But as a really solid starter for 10 bare bones, getting you off the ground, that will help you as a GM and you as a player have a structure that you can work with and a space that you can communicate in with your paper sheets that you know and love, with your own dice at your own table, and you can get on with it. Because that is all you need. You need your mates. You need the ability to see and hear each other, and away you go from there. Enjoy some great games, and I will see you on the flip side. Peace.